All right, so I'm calling to order the meeting of the Historic Commission. We do not yet have a quorum for the District Commission, so hopefully if someone else is able to join us, we'll be able to call that to order. But at least we can try to dispense with some of the commission stuff while we wait. And then just for purpose of open meeting law, this meeting is being recorded. So I guess the first item would be the meeting minutes that Kathy sent out. I don't know if anybody had a chance to look them over. The minutes from the December 9th meeting. That was it, right, Kathy?
Yep. The only thing I didn't have was Maggie's daughter's last name and her husband's name, and the Larsons' neighbor.
Oh.
I don't know if you have those.
Yeah, I don't know if we need the full. I don't know if I have. I can look if I have that in the application, because I think Megan was the applicant.
I think I found her last name, and I'm assuming that Jeff was her husband.
So we can add that in. Let me here. I might have that. What was that?
Kathy, Elaine Ruhl was the neighbor of Paul Larson.
Thank you. How do you spell her last name?
R-U-A.
R-U-A.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the property? 71. 71 North Avenue. Pretty sure Caruso was her last name, and then the other, oh, it's not on here. Maybe it's here. Attachments. Permit application. Yeah, same last name, Caruso.
Okay, great.
Put that in, and then so I guess if we're good with that, does someone want to make a motion to approve the minutes of December 9th, 2024 as amended?
So moved.
Is there a second?
A second?
Okay, and then all in favor?
Aye.
So Dan, aye.
Aye.
Kathy, I.
Karen, aye.
We're gonna do a roll call vote.
Yeah.
Okay, so the minutes, and then where's the agenda? The other for the Historic Commission. I did send out a draft of the annual report. The only thing that is missing maybe is some more detail on like demolitions. So I don't know if anybody had a chance to look at that. We probably have a little bit of time. I just want to get them to her because I think it's Katie's new. So I think they really prefer to get the stuff sooner rather than later.
Sure.
So I don't know if we're okay with this, if we want to bring it to another meeting to review it, or if you want to just email me any comments and I can put it together and get it submitted.
Yeah, why do we do that, Dan?
I mean,
I haven't had a chance to look at my email at all today, so but I'll take a look and see if there's anything that we need to add, and then anyone else can, weigh in, and we'll.
okay. I mean, we can't discuss over email, but if you all individually send your comments to me, I can collect them.
Yeah.
That would be great. And then the other item for the commission, and I guess District 2, is just the budget request. Jeremy sent out the memo for the budget. I just want to pull up the document. I think in our case, I mean, my recommendation is we just keep the same level funding. We're not really spending, it's not like we spent it all and then some. So we had $3,500 for, actually, I think it's $3,000 for expenses, $500 for postage. And then the district commission also has a separate $500 for postage. And that was just for miscellaneous, hearing notices, mailings, and then if there's any projects we need to do, but I don't know if anybody else has any thoughts, but.
Dan, the only item that I was thinking about is that we should probably see if we can put in our budget a new sign for the Taft Library in the records room. Although the records room is in pretty good shape. But I think we need to focus a little bit on the historic signage and start getting that together.
Yeah, I mean, do you know how much the sign is?
Oh, I would say $200 for the library sign.
I mean, I don't have off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure. I'll run the report while we're sitting here. I think we did spend a little bit from the record room project, but we easily have $2,500 in that account, I believe. I will check momentarily, but if we want to add more, or you think maybe we should ask for a special account of just one-time money to fund some signage?
Yeah, I mean, let's see.
That there might be funding left in the town hall project account to replace that sign on the tab in the library.
Yeah.
I can ask Jeremy.
And I'm wondering if we should do the same for the old museum, which has no signage. And did the district ever move forward on their signage?
No, that kind of stalled out. I think the hope was to maybe talk to the state, but that really hasn't gone anywhere. So I don't think there's anything happening with that anytime soon.
Was there a budget and a selection process done already for those?
I'd have to go back through the emails. I think we had some some options with pricing, and that's as far as we got. But then I think we ran into issues with who would install them, where would they go,
Right.
etc. I mean, it might be worth trying to reach out and find out if the state is willing to work with us to get some signage on 16, because I know that was one of the complications. The town road.
Do you think we can do that through the DPW project? Not the DPW, the Department of Transportation.
I don't know. I mean, the thing that would be interesting is if they might be willing to work with us to put signs up. Otherwise, there's like really specific rules about what you can do on state highways, like those blue Southwick Zoo signs, for example.
Yeah.
I looked into that for the beach once, and it's like hundreds of dollars to you get to buy the sign, you get to pay them to install it. It's a whole thing. But I don't know. We should reach out and see if maybe that's something they'd be willing to do as part of the project, is put up like a now entering Mendon district, whatever we were going to do.
Right. Maybe this year's goal should be for the historic district is to get that signage up.
Let me ask Jeremy about that as well and see now that I don't know. Unfortunately, I think that project is done, but at least if they could allow us to put the signs in, we can pay for the signs. It's just all the red tape of physically putting them in the ground within their infrastructure, if that's even an option.
Right. Yeah, and for the buildings, we don't really have to get tangled up in that, and we can determine, placing them off of Route 16.
Yeah.
We could certainly use Founders Park or the Tavern area. Maple.
Yeah, so we currently, I don't understand this. We currently have $3,100 through June 30th. So if we to buy 2 signs for a couple $100, we should just get a price and do it for the buildings. Oh, good, Christina's here.
Yeah,
Hi,
why don't we-
sorry. Anytime I go to use Teams, it makes me like delete it and re-download it, and it's just a disaster. So apologies.
That's Teams' garbage. All right, so then we can call the Historic District Commission meeting to order as well at 7:15, now that we have a quorum of that group. We're talking about the budget for the Historic Commission. And then for district, we just have 500 for postage. Well, maybe, I don't know, maybe we should be getting something together and submitting a request for a special article of one-time money for the signage for the district then. If that's the direction we want to go. I'd have to go back and look at even the pricing we came up with.
Yeah, let's take a look at the numbers and see what, if we think it's, something to put in front of the voters.
Yeah. So I think, why don't we pivot and open this public hearing so that these people that all came don't have to sit through everything else. So I think, would someone want to make a motion to open the public hearing for the Historic District Commission for 25 Washington Street?
Make a motion to open the public hearing for 25 Washington Street.
And then is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
All right, so this is a public hearing for a certificate of appropriateness for proposed solar at 25 Washington Street. And I believe the applicant is here and as well as online. Maybe if they want to just briefly present what they're looking to do. Pull up the permit. I don't know, like if you guys want to share your screen, maybe.
Yeah, I can share my screen. I have stuff ready.
I think there was an email went out with the picture. I guess it's worth pointing out. So this property, it is in the historic district. It was built in 1840. At the bottom end of the Washington Street. And you're just looking to put solar on the roof of the garage, it looks like.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. Sorry, I'm having trouble finding the tab to share the screen.
I can, if it was this one, I can share it.
Yeah, it's just the same thing that shows the copy of the property and then our planned solar array as well. So yeah, that's a 20 panel array. And it's going to offset the Hackinsons, their full electrical use. And I know that in 2019, yeah, I had mentioned in the previous message that in 2019 they did a remodel add-on, and so this isn't included on their add-on, or this is included on the add-on. So it isn't part of the historic side of this building, to my understanding. So yeah.
Yeah, so that would have been before the district was established. So that's why we wouldn't have been involved in that. So I think the only question I have is just so that in terms of the proposed location, it's going to be facing the street. I assume that there's no option to get these so they're not visible from the street.
It's really not, ideal. So, I mean, we could flip them on that other side, but right now our TSRF, which is essentially, so that stands for total solar refraction factor. That takes into account the tilt, the axis, basically where the panels are positioned in accordance to the sun. So if we were to put them on that, northeast facing roof, that would significantly hit that. And yeah, we just see decreased production from that. So it wouldn't really make it, the same value. It wouldn't give the same value proposition if we were to do that.
Okay, I mean, I think that's, seems like the thought, the mindset is, we're not necessarily looking to just block solar, where it help somebody lower their costs and stay in the house and preserve these historic homes. It seems like you've taken all the efforts to try and minimize the potential impact.
Yeah, absolutely. And the panels that we use are black on black, so they, match up. They don't have the grid lines that you do see in some of the panels. So yeah, we try to do our best to, conceal the conduit or run the conduit, as closely and most professionally as we can. So yeah, in order to get the most or the least obtrusive final product we can.
I guess, I don't know, are there any other comments from the commission, anybody, the public?
Dan, I just wanted to know who's speaking.
Oh, that
This
was,
would be Tyler with Master
Hi.
Renewables, and yeah, we're in Bellingham.
Hi, Tyler. How are you?
Hello, I'm good, Kathy. How are you today?
Good, thanks.
Good, yeah. Thank you guys for having us, by the way, too. Yeah, it's
Thanks for jumping
glad we
on.
can
We
discuss.
appreciate it.
so I guess if there's no further comments, then I guess I would, if someone wants to make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make motion to close the public hearing,
Okay.
25 Washington Street.
And is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 And I guess, then the next question, so if we're, the request is for a certificate of appropriateness. I do know there was another project similar, where we did issue a certificate of hardship for the ground mounted solar.
No.
So I don't know if that, if that is a different direction or if we're fine. I personally, I'm fine either way. I think we've approved other solars. I would be fine issuing your certificate of appropriateness on this if someone wanted to make that motion or.
Just a motion to issue
A certificate of appropriateness.
of appropriateness, 25 Washington Street, solar panels.
All right, and then is there a second?
Second.
So then all in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, so then that is approved.
Okay.
So I can't remember if you had already applied for your other permitting, but we'll put this back in the system and it'll get approved.
So is there anything we have to do, Dean?
Let me look. Did you already apply for an electrical permit and all that?
I believe Tyler?
I'll look, if it'll cooperate.
I believe Mike
No.
can speak to that. It shows he's on the call. I'm not sure if he's on the
That's all right.
microphone right now.
I just found it, you haven't yet.
Okay,
So
perfect.
the way this will work, when you're gonna obviously apply for your building permit, your electrical permit, it will get flagged for review and then that'll come to me and we'll just restate this approval. But from our perspective, you're all set. We'll generate a certificate and then,
Do you have any
Second
idea
copy.
time frame?
from our approval, it's done as of right now. So
Okay,
it's however, once they apply for the permits, that's
Okay.
now
okay,
the building department issue.
okay.
And then, as soon as they can build it, but yeah, you're all set. Just don't panic when it gets flagged again for district review, just you have your approval.
Oh, okay,
And then we'll probably mail you a copy of this.
okay,
at some
that'd be
point for
good.
your records.
All right, okay. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. Good night.
Yeah, have a good evening.
Too.
Okay. Let me just text Deb back. Deb, did we pick the 13th, the 27th? Because I had this date on my calendar from before. Deb's saying it was the 27th.
I thought it was the 27th too.
Yeah,
Huh.
me too.
Oh, maybe.
I think Hazel wasn't going to be able to make it, and Ruth, I think, is getting ready to leave
Oh.
Florida or something.
All right, that might have been my screw up, although we had to have ruled on this request by the 25th, so.
So I think we're good. I mean, we have a quorum. All is right with the world.
Mhm.
I mean, do we want to regroup maybe just remotely on the 27th if we want to go back and look at some of these reports, or it's up to you guys? I mean, I don't. I did send out a draft of the district report. It was very minimal. I basically just stated, I think I left the kind of summary. You know, just said we had 5 public hearings, issued 8 certificates, and then I listed all the different things that we reviewed. I don't know if there's any additional feedback on those. Or if people want to look it over and email back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll need to look it over a little bit more.
That would be great. Other than that, was there anything else for the district then? The agenda. Public hearing, no new applications. There's no minutes. I think. Just maybe an update on the record room, and then, I don't know, has the general bylaw committee gotten to talking about any of the scenic road stone wall stuff yet, or not really?
Yeah, Ann Mazar came to our meeting on, let me look at the 8th, we just had one. And she came and sort of talked it out with us a little bit, and she asked if that was still something I was kind of looking into and going to be presenting to the bylaw committee, and I said, yes, that'll be something I work on. So nothing has really materialized with it thus far, but it is something that's going to be started.
Okay.
I don't know if
Christina,
that's something we wanted to maybe talk about as a group, if there's any like opinions or notes from anybody else about things we wanted worked into it before I like work on it on my end, I guess.
I mean, it might be worth, if we have some, like if at another meeting, to take some time and review, like I know you and I discussed some stuff, but bring it back to the group and get some input. That way, when it goes to that committee, it's more like we've agreed upon what's in it.
Yeah, because that was on the 8th, so last week. We're meeting every 2 weeks, but that's not necessarily something I need to be like finalizing by next week, but definitely something we want to put in place. I think that's one of the things we want to present for the May annual meeting. So definitely prior to that.
Okay. And then for the record room, I don't know if we summarized this, so we formally closed it out. We got the formal approval from the state with the letter. The final budget is, there's a surplus of $31,722,000 left. Which we're gonna, I think, hopefully we can work with Ann Mazar, CPA, and find out if we can spend any more of that now to try and finish the floors that we weren't able to do before. And then potentially some of this HVAC work. Or it may need to just go back and be voted on again. But it's done, it works. I went in there after all that rain, the basement was dry. So that's cool.
so Dan, did you happen to hear the questions that the CPA members were asking about? How are you going to put in a subfloor and then a finished floor without
Yeah,
allowing, moisture to come up through the nail holes?
I think if we move forward with this, we probably want to get a really detailed scope from that contractor, or see if one of them can call into that meeting. Because I'm guessing a few of them will have some pretty technical questions. I think they just wanted some clarification on what they meant by vapor barrier and how
Right.
that can be installed in a way to be functional when you're gonna nail floorboards through it.
True.
you know, that may not be like there may be a better terminology that I would assume Brendan could explain that better.
Sure. All right. Well, let's, when we talk to Brendan, let's.
We try to get a hold of them, yeah. Because it sounded like, I mean, when they were here, they were interested in coming back and doing that.
Yeah,
And that would be the cleanest. I mean, we could try and get some other pricing from other people, but
What kind of subfloor and floor are they putting in?
it was just, so they were just gonna fix the floor. Originally, what they were hoping to do was just refinish the floor, pull a few boards, but then the scope was far beyond that, so it was a change order that we couldn't afford. So they ended up pulling about 60% of the flooring
And this is on the ground
upstairs to the
level.
main floor.
Yeah,
And it's in the building, but they pulled it so they could secure all the subfloor and the beams. And then this would be to basically relay it along with whatever new materials needed to fill in what has to be filled in, and then we finish it all so it's
yeah.
proper.
I mean, generally in historic preservation, you don't want that secondary vapor barrier because you want the moisture to travel and disperse rather than like create, you know, plastic is bad. Like, you know, so it'd be interesting to see kind of what their thoughts are.
You talked to him, right, Kathy? I think it was the concern about trying to prevent moisture in the basement from affecting the floor again, if there is
Right.
moisture.
But if moisture builds up in the basement and you have plastic under the subfloor, it just creates like condensate on in between the layers, and then that's just as bad. Then you have a mold and mildew problem. Like it's better to just leave it open and let it wait. I mean, from a traditional historic preservation standpoint, I would never input plastic ever into that situation. It would be better to let the moisture disperse and like dehumidify the space, you know, or like ventilate the space than
right.
install plastics.
So maybe we should involve Hazel when we connect with,
That's my jam.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Hazel.
Do this here.
if we can set up a call with him or something.
Let's just pull out a completely composted subfloor, you know, at Harvard, like someone had put plastics in it and it just. Yeah, we dug it out with shovels.
Oh, no.
Yeah, yeah. Plastics are not your friend. But they have all the original boards.
This is what was in there, and they're not original to the building, they're a little bit
That's a
later.
shame. Yeah, but are they strip flooring, like 3/4 strip flooring?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know, yeah, it's like
kinda like this.
this, and then there's like a very loose subfloor, which is also planks, it's not like,
Is it set at a bias or are they set at perpendicular
I
angles?
think it's all, I wish I could remember, I probably have a picture somewhere, I think it's all facing the same way pretty much.
Yeah, it'd be really nice if they would reset the subfloor on a bias and then set the, you know, like an old timey carpenter, you know?
Maybe trying to figure, well, maybe that's a thought, so maybe at this point, we should like pull the other 40%, pull it all and relay it all.
I
We
would,
said at an angle, so
yeah.
it's.
So it's nice and flat and, you know, subfloor at a bias is always structurally better.
I'm just seeing if there's pictures.
Great.
Thing that Kathy put together. I mean, not that I'm gonna find right now. Well, there's gotta be a picture in here. There's like every other part of this building other than the flooring. Oh, I think it is, yeah, the flooring would be 90 degrees then to the subfloor.
Okay, so they laid them perpendicular to
I
each
guess it
other,
goes a
like
different direction.
one facing one direction and then overlaying.
Yep.
These are the original pictures. I don't know if I have the ones of the new construction. I'll have to look through, we have to go in there at some point. It might be worth setting up a meeting and like if we can go with you and walk through and come up with a list of things, and maybe, I don't know how far away they are, if they want to come down and meet with us. That would be the
If there's
ideal.
any money left in that grant, when I walk by there, I look at those windows and just, the windows need restoration, and like, even if it was just reglazing and repainting and, lubricating I guess those sash pocket windows, perhaps.
Yeah, here I'm wrong, that they goes the same way. So this is what's in there for subflooring.
Okay,
And then the actual flooring, if I can find that, goes the same.
oh yeah, that's
Direction.
no good.
So,
Yeah, that should be corrected. Like if they're gonna lay the subflooring that direction, then lay the finished flooring the other direction.
yeah, here, where's the share? This is the flooring this has been ripped up, but this is what was there previously that they pulled, so it is going, yeah.
Yeah,
There were pictures that show, like, it was so far bowed and whatever that it is, like, there's no way we can refinish it.
yeah.
And unfortunately,
Yeah, whenever
scope
you lay the two
wasn't
pieces of
enough.
wood on top of each other, you've got nothing to level it. It's just gonna be like a undulating, you know?
Well, that was the recommendation of Mike Petrovic, that we do another analysis of this building and come up, I think, with more of a kind of phased plan of work.
It might be best just have 2 or 3 good historic preservation contractors, because once you get into like, feasibility plans and stuff, you can eat up all your grant money just in that jazz, and, with some people writing proposals, and they charge you for them, and if you don't have anything to show for it, but a piece of paper.
And I think, I think there's a pretty good list of stuff that needs to get done in there. The flooring, the gutters,
The windows.
the HVAC.
The windows.
So they did something with the windows, right, Kathy, or did they just paint them? And
Oh, I think they just painted them. And no, wait a minute. I thought they reglazed them.
Did they?
I honestly do, but there's storm windows on the outside too.
From
Yeah,
all
some
across.
windows need to be replaced. They're done duty, dead soldiers.
And then the chimney issues. I was mentioning to Kathy before we got on, so I finally got a hold of one of the HVAC companies. Turns out it's a company that actually installed the system 20 years ago. But he's gonna come look at it and get us a price to basically clean or replace the ductwork and then install a proper dehumidifying thing that isn't just a plug-in unit.
What kind of ductwork is it?
It's not, it's a forced air, it's a
Yes.
heat pump system with a forced air furnace. Honestly, there's such little ductwork in there, it's probably simpler to just rip it out and replace it. It's like
I wouldn't even
30 feet
replace
ductwork.
that, just put a radiant system in, because forced air in a historic building is contraindicated usually. Like, you just don't pressurize a space like that. Like, when you create positive pressure in a space that has like sash hung windows and all, it just forces all your hot air out of the cracks of the building. You want to heat the heavy materials because it's made out of brick and wood. So if you heat those radiantly, it radiates the heat back into the building rather than pressurizing up you don't want to heat the air, you want to heat
Yeah.
the stuff. You just put a really small boiler in the basement, even an electric boiler, you probably only need 3 registers on the top. If you're gonna rip everything out, you could at least make it energy efficient. You could get a hydronic boiler that's heat pump based too.
I wonder if there's something that could use this same condensing, because the thing is, it's already all paid for.
Oh, no, okay.
Well, it's been in it for, it works, but
Well, if it works, you should
It
just run it to the end of its life. and
yeah,
then
the
replace
concern,
the
the
system.
concern here is that the ducting that's in there is disgusting from the condition of the
Moldy.
basement, so,
Yeah,
but there's very little of it, it's like a main return trunk and then like one branch.
yeah.
And we should go through with you, have you look at it in
Yeah,
person.
it's like now with the new like the heat pump type systems, you can heat and cool a tiny space like that so cheaply. Even if it's a hydronic system, whether you're using, you can. That's what we do at Harvard. We have it's a hydronic system, and it will heat the baseball radiators, or you can use wall mount. And then we switch it to the chiller in the summer, and it just has cold water running through and fans. So, but it would make, if you're going to rent it out, it would make it really inexpensive for the tenant to heat and cool the space But if you're not going to rent it, it would still be cheap for the town.
Yeah, I mean, we've had issues because you have to be careful with this. If it kicks on the auxiliary heat, you're getting one heck of a power bill.
Yeah.
That's happened a few. I think that happened to the society once, and I think it happened when the town had it.
Yeah.
Like a $400 power bill.
Ew, that's no good.
So I don't know, I guess that's, I mean, we
Really?
need to go through that to come up with a plan, I
The
think.
power bill was like $56. Like, I don't run anything, you know, I'm always at work, I'm never home, it's the fridge.
$50 a month fridge.
Yeah, basically, and I have a radiant heat, so.
Nice.
Well, it's fuel oil, I'd rather it was like,
Yeah.
when the boiler dies, I'll put the hydronic heat pump in, but it's gonna be a bit.
So I think that's everything, unless anybody has anything else, or if we want to try and pick another date, or. Guess we did have the 27th, we probably don't need to meet unless something comes up, unless we want to meet again to review the reports.
And the one, did y'all already discuss the ones that I sent over from the DOT about the,
Oh, we didn't even talk about
okay,
that, probably,
I
that's,
don't know, maybe in the future might be worth, I can chase the DOT around and see if we can have an entire, like, the road reconstruction plan that goes all through the historic district, you know, not just the intersection, but the whole thing. You know, everything within the boundaries of our historic district, and like look at it on the big screen and kind of be like,
I did ask Jeremy for the plans again, and it looks like it's on the select board agenda. I still would assume that they want to have a conversation with us about the Civil War Memorial, but. I've not
that,
heard
and
back
then
yet.
also, where are they putting the Boston Post mark? Are they shifting it back? I mean,
The plans I saw, it's not moving, but that's,
yeah,
I
but
wanna see
the
them.
road cuts right in, it's really weird, you
Let me
know?
bug him again, that I think either somebody needs to come to us, or we need to have a meeting with the select board, like,
It's such a significant group of monuments, the Civil War thing and the Boston Post Road marker, which, you know, those are on national registers, or at least the postmarker is. The other postmarker, there was two, one's missing. I always think that if I start digging around in the yard, I'm gonna find it, like, you know. There's all kinds of granite property markers, like just, looks like someone just pulled them down and stuck them hither and thither, and, you know, it's probably in there with them. Oh, there's Ben Franklin's marker.
Grab a shovel one day, just go to town.
Well, I'm gonna have to shovel out the back, cause I pulled the deck off, so maybe I'll find it, some skeletons. Who knows? It might be worth in a future meeting to review all those plans and review the, I can't remember what it's called now, it's out of the long ago. There's that, impact study that they completed about what they say about how this road will impact. I sent it down, so
yeah, I think, unfortunately,
might just kind of read it over and be like, is there
maybe
anything
they
that
can
we
try
can?
and, yeah,
push
bring stuff to
back
their
on?
attention, but they seem to just be forging ahead with this, and I'm not sure how much control the town has.
Well, I think that if there was some, especially with the markers, if there was something that the town had a desire for, they might be open to it, like, oh, can we have a metal sign that indicates the post marker, or, you know, historic-y
Well,
signs?
before you
Mhm.
came, we were talking, so previously the district commission wants to put up signage for delineating the district.
That would be really
One
nice.
of the complications is you can't really put signs on a state highway without a whole bunch of red tape. And the hope was maybe to work with them to get signage as part of this project or do something.
Maybe even banners, you know how other towns have banners that
Yeah,
have, say, historic district, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, you know?
yeah, so the thing is, the brothers had the memorial flag program. So you either have to double up on the poles or you lose those poles if they permanently had that. I think at one point we had some signs that I think me and donated some money to pay for some banner signs that were up for a while in the downtown.
They last for like 2-3 years and then they need to be replaced.
Um,
Well, it also might be nice, like, to periodically replace them to say something like 200th year, or, you know, whatever.
I'll reach out to Jeremy again and see, and, you know, I think either he could attend this meeting or schedule a joint meeting or what, you know. I think there should be some discussion here on some of this.
It might be, you know what I'll
I
do
mean,
is
they met
I'll,
with us years ago now.
yeah, drive down 16 and see what the other towns do. Like, what does Holliston do? What does blah, blah, blah do, you know? They've got some signs up.
We looked into this and I have to go find the emails. We had some example, like, they were like fancy aluminum posts and signage that we had picked from other towns, and then it just kind of stalled out.
Well, the banners only last a couple of years, but you can see the banners.
Mhm.
Okay, a lot of the really nice little metal signs.
Mhm.
I'll drive by that thing at 45 miles.
Yeah,
I've
the
never
banners
seen it.
like are big and colorful, and we could change them up.
Yeah,
We
that's
could
what I'm
say
saying.
like, you
Totally
know,
agree with you. Yeah.
yeah, like, you know, every time we have a red letter anniversary, we should have a fresh banner, you know?
I don't think we're gonna have another anniversary for a while, are we?
I forget now, 2017 plus 25, so 27, 37, yeah, 2042. That'd be the 375th.
Well, we could do other ones, like the building of the meeting house, or we could find some in the calendar.
Anyway. All right, yeah, so I'll try and bug him again about some sort of further discussion on this project. I mean, now that they're nearing completion of everything.
You can make them just like Mendon history banners, like, you know, what was the King Philip's War, like, there's gotta be some like, you know, we could have some kind of text.
I don't know I can't get this to load. I don't know what's being discussed. It is on the select board agenda for the 15th, but it may just be a standing update. It just says, hang on, this will cooperate. Mendon Hopedale MassDOT project. So,
It would be nice if they put up the slides of the complete project, like whenever.
I had suggested that before. There needs to be like a website, and
Yeah.
like, this is what's happening, this is what's going to happen, this is what it looks like. So when everybody's complaining about all the traffic, you can just say, go here, look here, it's all here. Here's the timeline. Here's when that road's closed.
Or if they're worried about something, they can say, oh.
Yeah, here's who to talk to.
Mhm.
'Cause
Like, we could
unfortunately-
even make a link on a Mendon website, like, here's the information on the DOT project for Route 16, click, and then you can go and see the project managers, the documentation, these different studies that I've requested. And they did submit the impact study. They seemed a little kind of like, here you go about it, which kind of led me to believe that if there was things we didn't agree with, they would be open to discussing them, you know? It didn't seem like, here you go, bugger off, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was like 3 or 4 years ago, it was pre-COVID.
Mhm.
I remember meeting with them, Deb Flanagan was there. Oh, I was in Ellen's office, that's how it was way before, and they had details with us, and they were open then, but then we never heard another word about it.
Mhm.
There was never any follow-up discussion on what's being done.
I mean, I could reach out to the DOT people I've been in contact
I'll
with
ask,
and ask if they would do a presentation for the historic commission. You know?
yeah, well, I think we have to be careful that we don't step, like, I think it needs to go through the select
It
board.
has to go that
I
way.
don't think we should be reaching out, I don't think we should reach out on our own. I think that's maybe overstepping our authority. Unless we first attempt to reach out to them and get told something, that we disagree with, but I think we have to be careful there.
Okay.
But I will email Jeremy again, because waters also has another topic that we want people to attend a water meeting and have a discussion about something. And we got some response, so I'll bug him about this too and say that we really need to figure out a way to facilitate this either here or it needs to be a specific agenda item with a joint discussion at a select board meeting.
Mhm.
I can't be at Wednesday night meetings, but I think other people can, so
It would be great if the select board did reach out to the DOT project manager and just say, hey, would you be willing to attend and talk to our community? You know, I'm sure they would if they had enough
Yeah.
notice. They'd send somebody, you know, with some slides and some, you know, general information and could answer questions, or even if they zoomed in.
So I'll try and find out more about that. All right, is there anything else that wasn't or was on the agenda that I forgot about? Oh, the Hastings Street, 18 Washington Street project, I did get an email today. They are refiling their NEPA, whatever review process. I still haven't heard back from them. I think I'll try reaching out again.
Is that the project?
That's the whole proposed Hastings Street subdivision.
On the
Grocery
putt
store,
golf.
yeah.
So the part that involves us is the historic homes on Washington Street,
Right.
or historic home and barn.
Yeah.
And I think the last time that was the comment back from the state was that they wanted Mendon's comments. So
Yeah,
I
they
hope
should bizarre.
they would start their process with us. But it's not, I mean, I think that's like a 6-month process that they've just restarted, so.
And they were planning to redo it, right, or if.
The last conversation I heard from someone who now isn't with them anymore,
Is they want barn to
they
go
were
back.
gonna rebuild, repair the house and just flip it as one of their units, but restore it. The barn, they wanted to demolish and rebuild a new house in the style of the barn in its place. And that's what I was told, but I know nothing about the condition of those buildings or any of that. So I think that's where it'd be important for us to discuss and.
So they'll make submittals about the conditions, correct? And
Well, they would have to apply to the Historic Commission for demolition delay review. And then they would have to come to the Historic District. Technically, their whole project, but I think a majority of it is gonna be exempt because it's not visible from a public way. But those two things that are right on Washington Street are absolutely visible and 100% within the district's jurisdiction.
yeah, because it's really gonna alter the visuals of the district.
You know, whatever they do in the back, that it'll be screened with, I mean, I think their plans had trees and stuff, that's, unfortunately, we can't control it. But at least those two houses, or the house and the barn.
Yeah, it would be really nice if they just fixed them both up. Maybe their condition isn't as bad as they thought.
I don't know, I mean, I think in the past, it seems like this applicant tends to want to just be done with these properties. So I don't know, it seems like people tell me that the barn was better than the house. I've never been in any of them or seen them, so I wouldn't know, I mean, I don't, maybe there's something horribly wrong with the barn, who knows?
I mean, it could have toxic materials.
It probably is difficult to renovate that into a house versus a house that's already a house.
Yeah, I mean, it's, it's one of those things though, is that the saleability of the units is kind of, and the valuation of them is going to be it pivots on the lovely historic character of the area, and then you destroy it, and then it actually devalues the overall look of the town and the desirability of it, and it kind of makes the units less desirable as well in a way. It doesn't have that cute little small town feel with the historic district. It has the look, a field of houses,
Right.
giant grocery store parking lot,
Giant, yeah, industrial.
Yeah, as people drive through the town, they just go,
So, yeah, I'll reach out again and see if we can get some sort of response from them. Because it'd be nice to not, because, what'll happen is they'll apply for their permit and everything will grind to a halt. And it would be nice to do that before that happens. But
So it's a done deal, like they have approval and.
they have site plan approval from planning board, they have conservation approval. They started the process to permit the public water supply well, and I don't know how that's going, but I assume it's fine. Like, I don't think they found horrible things when they did the pump test, so it's just paperwork. The septic, I think
Septic's just.
they perk tested, I believe. I don't know if they've formally gone to the Board of Health for like the actual engineering, but I think they all had to be part of the like site plans or conservation
That's
stuff.
the grocery store too, but there's a septic in the well.
I think so, from what the plans I
I've
saw,
never
it's
seen
two,
that.
it's two wells, like paired,
Like the ones over there.
that will supply that whole thing, and this could have changed. I think he was gonna try and connect the Hood Plaza as well, because they have water issues over there.
Yeah.
And then the septic, it was a shared for the housing, the houses and the grocery store was all one shared septic system.
Tapping those wells for a large commercial space is gonna be, I mean, it's like, it's very risky. If you lose water, it's bad. And if we go through a drought or there's some sort of shift in the water table and you have a major commercial space and umpteen houses on a well, it's very bizarre.
I do know, because I've seen, I mean, DEP does not mess around with well approvals. We went through it here, we've been going through with this water study. They are very aggressive.
They should be, I mean, think of how much water you use in a supermarket for washing and, for people using the lavatory, and it's a lot more than,
Yeah, the location of these wells is an area that was identified in a study in the early 2000s as a potential option for town water, actually.
So it's got good supply, but it's a shame that it doesn't go to the town, it will now go to a commercial space.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I mean, this water study thing is interesting. We'll see if it goes anywhere, but that'll be a whole other project. But yeah, so I don't know, that's all I know at this point.
Was that what all those, like, the email that went out asking about your well?
No, I think that's something else. I don't know, that was from, I think that has to do with the drought. I came to the Board of Health.
Oh, okay, because I got that email, it's like a survey, they wanted to
Yeah.
know. But I only had one question,
Right.
it's kind of weird.
I don't know. No, the town commissioned we've been getting a lot of grants. They're doing a water study to potentially develop a town water source off of Providence Road. So they found a spot, they just completed the long pump test, and now we're waiting on all the reports. But it was also $63 million.
Oh.
So
Ain't cheap to build water.
whether that's actually economically viable is a whole other adventure.
It's-
Um,
I hate to say it, but it ain't gonna get cheaper in the future. So they keep building up all this,
yeah.
letting people develop the heck out of everything, they're gonna need it.
Well, and I think that's the problem. I mean, I'm hesitant to get into it in this meeting, but one of the takeaways is that the way that has to be financially viable is you need growth to finance the system. So whether people want that level of growth that is involved with that, I don't know.
But that's the thing, is that people probably don't want it, but it's coming anyway. So,
I don't know. Do we want to talk about our other meeting date then? I guess what were we saying? Was it the second Monday? Third Monday?
I think it was a third.
So if we want to, I mean, so February, so the third, of course, it's President's Day. So I don't know if we want to wait till the 24th, unless some permit comes through. We're probably okay now that we're out of the holidays, that we've.
Mondays are always fun for me, so. Oh, wait, just realized I don't have it. I actually start having classes start back up, so Mondays are actually bad. But I can always zoom in and I can watch the recordings too.
Yeah, I don't know, Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays. At this point, there's not much,
Tuesday is kind of what I've done for me, but I don't know what everybody's got their own schedule.
so.
I do have another meeting that's usually on a Tuesday. What's that? Do you wanna wait till the 24th? When did you wanna have that annual?
Well, so I think, I
report
mean,
turned in?
if we want to try, we could meet again on the 27th, I don't know, if we think that's necessary to.
Oh,
formally
January
to want-
27th.
Vote on if the annual report's technically due on the 15th, but that's a very loose due date,
15th of February?
January.
Oh,
Because I think it's in the it's hard coded in the bylaw because I think it's from back when they literally had to typeset these reports. But now they like just send it all to the printer, so it's really not actually due until like the end of April.
oh, okay, that's
But
better.
because Katie's brand new, I would prefer not to do what I've normally done to Laura, is give everything at the last second. So yeah, if we wanna, I mean, we could review it in February, but the 24th is probably a little bit late to, if we're gonna make changes to it.
Okay, what about the 10th? Can we do the 10th?
We could do the 10th. Does that work for you guys?
The 10th is better for me than the 24th.
At least put that
I
on.
do the 10th.
That is good.
Maybe let's put that on the schedule for now and then see if Deb gets back to me. In case it's a conflict for her, but I think Ruth was fine on Mondays. And then I guess if that's it, someone want to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn. Both the meetings, or
Yeah,
just Historic Commission
both of them at this point.
and Historic District?
All right, and then
Second.
it's all in favor?
Aye.
Kathy,
Aye.
aye.
Karen,
Stop the recording.